Hi there, I'm making this video today to talk about the Japanese language sewing and crafting magazine Cotton Time. Cotton Time, I think it's a fantastic resource for your sewing and crafting. It is a Japanese language publication, although while it helps to have a little bit of Japanese, you can certainly make use of it, especially if you're an intermediate to advanced level sewer. You can, it's well illustrated enough that you can definitely get good use out of it in good projects, even if you do not speak or read Japanese. In knitting and crochet circles, Japanese patterns seem to have made some inroads. They've got a real cult following among a lot of English-speaking crafters. You see things like the Japanese magazine, a knitting magazine, Kaitodama, has got a real cult following on sites like Ravelry, people exchanging tips and info on how to interpret patterns, how to adjust patterns. Sewing doesn't have as much of the same central hub of information the way Ravelry seems to serve for knitting and crochet. So from what I've seen online, I don't see a lot of English-speaking resources for Cotton Time. And I think that's a shame because it's such a great publication. It's relatively inexpensive, and as I'll get to in a minute, it's not real hard to obtain either. So I wanted to introduce this, and hopefully some other crafters out there can get some use out of it. Cotton Time comes out every other month, so there's 6 issues a year. This is an issue from this past fall. As you can see at the top, the 9, it's a September issue of Cotton Time. Everything you see on the cover, like this cover has these little canisters, real cute with little stuffed acorns. There are children's Halloween costumes. There are purses. Most, if not all, and I think really all, especially in the more recent issues, of the items you see featured on the cover, all of those patterns are included in the issue of the magazine where they're pictured on the cover. You also get, in each issue of Cotton Time, this was not the case with the very early issues, but it seems to be from the last year or so on. You always get a small remnant of some original fabric. It's not very much, but as I'll show you, the crafts in here don't generally require a lot of fabric, which is another nice thing. This was the fabric available in the September issue, and if you can see it, it's got it's like a floral cotton weave and has little red birds on it. And what they'll do is they'll give you a swatch of fabric in each issue, about that big, and you will get a couple ideas in the beginning of the magazine on how you could use it. And again, these patterns are included with this magazine. You don't have to buy them separately, you don't have to download them, they're in the magazine. This sheet came where you can cut out the templates to make either this bag or this little bag, and I think that's that's a mirror cover, like a compact cover. So that's in each issue. There's a different fabric swatch in each issue. This magazine came with this red, white, and blue kind of nautical themed one. This issue came with this floral that's almost sort of like a Liberty floral. It's just really neat, and of course, even if you can't use the little piece they gave you to make everything here, if you copy this pattern, photocopy it, or trace it instead of cutting it out of the cardstock, you can use your own fabric of your choice to make any of these things, as many of them as you want. It's the other thing with Cotton Time, which I think is kind of nice and different from a lot of publications. With some exception, there is not a clothing pattern magazine. There are not a great deal of clothing patterns in here. You might see a skirt or a hat or something like that, but pretty much it is all these little, lots and lots of purses, handbags, little home decor items. These are little fabric coasters, little patchwork coasters. These are some little mushroom-shaped things. These are little hedgehogs that you're supposed to make with lavender or some other kind of aromatic in them, and use them to put them in your shoes. They're just cute. If you're into the Zaka aesthetic for Japanese decorating, this magazine, most of the patterns pretty much typify that Zaka look. There's an awful lot of patchwork, you know, just little small cute home items. And as you can see, everything in here is very, very well illustrated. Probably a little difficult to decipher if you are a real beginner with sewing, but if you're intermediate to advanced sewer, the language barrier probably isn't going to be a big issue for you. Like I said, if you do read Japanese, that's a help, but it's not necessary. Here you see these patterns for this puppy chair cushion, a puppy tea cushion, and tea cozy. And they give you the very clearly photographed instructions here of how to do that, how to piece it together. It's really cool. And these are all, the other thing I really like here is that they're all pretty small projects. Once in a while you'll come across something that's a little more involved, but most of these things you could do in an afternoon or maybe a couple afternoons. This one's really cute with the little yo-yo pieces on the little face on his tote bag. So if you're looking to sew a quick little gift for someone, for teacher gifts or, you know, something like that, it's kind of neat because even if you don't use these patterns exactly, there's an awful lot of inspiration in here. You could probably piece together your own ideas on how to do it. More little bags. In the middle of each issue of Cotton Time, in addition to this cardstock pattern piece for those little patterns at the beginning, when you get to the middle, you'll find a big packet that you can undo the staples in the center of the magazine. This folds out huge, and it has templates and patterns for just about everything else in the magazine. There's also some ideas in here, some inspiration for embroidery, cross stitch. That's cross stitch on linen, making that little holder where you can put a pin cushion and ruler or scissors, other sewing supplies. Just kind of neat and different patterns than you see in a lot of other magazines. That's a very cute little matryoshka pin cushion and needle book. You can it's made to hang on your sewing machine. So anyway, and unlike Kato-dama, and I like Kato-dama as well, as I said, for knitting and crochet, the patterns in here in Cotton Time are typically, they're not real complicated. They're not things that are going to take you months to do. They're not going to take yards and yards of fabric. Tons and tons of little things. One issue will give you easy 40 to 50 small little patterns for little things. I have been buying Cotton Time from Hobby Link Japan. They're really great. They are currently stocking it. It's not expensive either. It tends to be like between $7 and $9 US an issue, plus shipping, and the shipping hasn't been formidable. It's a flat package. You can also find Cotton Time on Etsy. Sometimes you'll also find Japanese language printings of the magazine as well as the original Japanese printings. It pops up on eBay from time to time too, but from what I have found, the best source, most reliable source I've found is Hobby Link Japan for their most recent issues. It's just a really, really neat resource, and I'll show you very quickly a few things that I have made from Cotton Time patterns. This is, it's a toilet paper holder, and it looks like a little house. I had to expand it a little bit. It's cool because it looks like the toilet paper coming out. It's like it holds your spare roll, you know, and it sort of looks like smoke coming out of the chimney. I had to expand this a little bit because Japanese toilet paper rolls tend to be a little bit smaller than the ones we have here, and it didn't fit as written. But this is just a cylinder, so all I had to do was add a few inches to it, and the measurements in Cotton Time are all given by centimeter in here, so it's easy to make adjustments if you have to. This is a patchwork messenger bag I made. Again, it's really simple, and if you're a sewer, you could probably do it yourself, but I get a lot of good design ideas from Cotton Time, even if I don't follow them exactly. This was a train case, like a cosmetic case. As originally written, it was probably about 2/3 the size. It was more of a square, but I was going on a big trip and I wanted something a little bit bigger. So I added a little bit to it and pieced it together that way, but it's real cute. So anyway, I hope I gave you some good information on here. And if you are a sewer, I would definitely recommend check out Etsy, check out eBay, check out Hobby Link Japan, and find yourself an issue of Cotton Time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.